and welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones recipe. Today we'll be making Frey pie, which is the pie that Arya served Walder Frey in season 6 in the series. No humans were harmed in the making. The pie is a really thick pie with a lot of meat, some vegetables served in a very flaky pie crust. That's what we're going to be making today, and let's get started.
Let's start off by making the pastry. In a large mixing bowl, add in flour, salt, and cold butter cut into smaller cubes. Then, using your hands, just gently knead the butter and flour together. Basically, you want to break down that cold butter until they are somewhat incorporated like this. You should aim for a flaky, dry texture like so. Then, you want to add in the water bit by bit. Using a wooden spatula, just mix that in with the pastry. Now, I've used about half a cup of water, but you might end up using slightly lesser or slightly more, depending on the accuracy of your measurement. Then, just pour everything out onto a clean surface and stick them all together. Then, wrap that up and leave that in the fridge while we prepare the filling. Start off by finely chopping up onion, dice up a carrot, and a tomato. Next, in a pot, add in a tablespoon of oil and throw in the onions. Sauté until fragrant and add in the carrots. Give it a light toss around and add in salt and pepper seasoning. Then add in the veal. Throw in some herbs to add some flavor. Then add in the stock, tomato, and peas. At this point, I've decided that maybe I could add in some tomato sauce to give it some acidity in terms of flavor. Then just let that simmer on low for 15 minutes until some water has evaporated and the tomato has completely softened and broken down. Give that a good mix around, and then lastly, thicken the gravy by adding a slurry of flour and water. Turn off the heat and let that cool. Now, back to the pastry. Unwrap your pastry, lightly dust your work surface, and using a rolling pin, press down onto the pastry to flatten it. Then gently roll it out, rotating the pastry to even it out. Don't worry if it breaks or tear, just patch it back up. Now, since this is a pastry, you don't really need to aim for perfection, really. You may think that you've done a bad job, but trust me, it's not that bad after all. Anyway, once that's thin enough, lay it over a springform pan and line the pan, removing any excess pastry from the sides. Again, if there are holes, just patch them up. Okay, now let's scoop in the filling. And here I've rolled out the top sheet using the leftover pastry that I've trimmed off the sides earlier. Fold the edges to seal, and using a fork, just slightly press them down. Score the middle, and lastly, egg wash the surface. That's going to go into a 220 degrees Celsius oven for 20 minutes or until golden brown. So here it is. Frey pie to be served to your enemies. I mean, your friends. Using friendly ingredients, perfect for your Game of Thrones watch party. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more, and I look forward to sharing more Game of Thrones recipes soon.